Hello, Mark. My name is Tinson. My student number is 56. I'm a freshman. Lucy Kalanithi what make life worth living in the first of days. A few days after my husband Paul was diagnosed with stage IV lung cancer, we were lying in our bed at home and Paul said, "It's going to be okay." And I remember answering back, "Yes, we just don't know what okay meant yet." Paul and I had met as first-year medical student at Yale. He was smart and kind and super funny. He used to keep a gorilla suit in the trunk of his car, and he would say, "It's for emergency only." Laughter. I fell in love with Paul as I watched the care he took with his patients. He stayed there talking with them, seeking to understand the experience of illness and not just its technicalities. He later told me he fell in love with me when he saw me cry over an EKG of a heart that had stopped beating. We didn't know it yet, but even in the heady days of young love, we were learning how to approach suffering together. We got married and became doctors. I was working as internist, and Paul was finishing his training as a neurosurgeon when he started to lose weight. He developed excruciating back pain and a cough that we won't go away. And when we were admitted to the hospital, a CT scan revealed tumor at Paul's lung and his bones. We have both cared for patients with devastating diagnosis. Now it's our turn. We lived with Paul's illness for 22 months. He wrote a memoir about facing mortality. I gave birth to our daughter Katie, and we loved her and each other. We learned directly how to struggle through really tough medical decisions. The day we took part in the hospital for the last time was the most difficult day of my life. When we turned to me at the end and said, "I'm ready," I knew that wasn't just a brave decision, it was the right one. Paul didn't want a ventilator and a CPR in that moment. The most important thing to Paul was to hold our baby daughter. 9 hours later, Paul died. I've always thought of myself as a caregiver. Most physicians do, and taking care of Paul deepened what that meant. Watching her reshape his identity during his illness, learning to witness and accept his pain, talking together through his choices. Those experiences taught me that resilience does not mean bouncing back to where you were before, or pretending that the hard stuff isn't hard. It's so hard, it's painful making stuff, but it's the stuff. And I learned that when we approach it together, we get to decide what success looks like. One of the first things Paul said to me after his diagnosis was, "I want you to get married." And I was like, wow, I guess we get to say anything out loud. Laughter. It was so shocking and heartbreaking. And generous, I really comforting because it was starkly honest, and less honest, and honesty turned out to be exactly what we needed. Early in Paul's illness, we agreed we would just keep saying things out loud. Tasks like making a will or completing our advanced directives. Tasks that I have always avoided were not as daunting as they once seemed. I realized that completing an advanced directive is an act of love, like a wedding vow, a path to take care of someone, codifying the promise that till death do us apart. I will be there if needed. I will speak for you. I will honor your wishes. That paperwork became a tangible part of our life story. As a physician, Paul and I were in a good position to understand and even accept his diagnosis. We weren't angry about it, luckily, because we've seen so many patients in devastating situations, and we knew that that is a part of life. But it's one thing to know that. It was a very different experience to actually live with the sadness and uncertainty of a serious illness. Huge strides are being made against lung cancer, but we knew that Paul likely had months to a few years left to life. During that time, Paul wrote about his transition from doctor to patient. We talked about feeling like he's suddenly at a crossroad, and how he would have thought he would be able to see the path. That because he treats so many patients, maybe he could follow in their footsteps. But he was totally disoriented. Rather than a path Paul road, I saw instead only a harsh, vacant, gleaming white desert, as if a sandstorm has erased all familiarity. I have to face my mortality and try to understand what meant my life was living, and I needed my oncologist's help to do so. The connection taking care of Paul gave me an even deeper appreciation for my colleagues in healthcare. We have a tough job. We are responsible for helping patients have clarity around their prognosis and their treatment options, and that's never easy. But it's especially tough when we're dealing with a potential terminal illness like cancer. Some people don't want to know how long they have lived. Others do. Otherwise, we never have those answers. Sometimes we substitute hope by emphasizing the best case scenario. In a survey of physicians, 55% said that painted as a rosy picture than their honest opinion when describing a patient's prognosis. It's an instinct born out of kindness, but researchers have found that when people better understand the possible outcome of an illness, they have less anxiety, greater ability to plan, and less trauma for their families. Family can struggle with those conversations, but for us, we also find that information immensely helpful with big decisions. Most notably, whether we have a baby. Months to a few years meant Paul was not likely to see her grow up, but he had a good chance of being there for her birth and for the beginning of her life. I remember asking Paul if he saw having to say goodbye to a child would make dying even more painful, and his answer astounded me. He said, "Wouldn't it be great if it did?" And we did it. Not in order to spite cancer, but because we were learning that living full meant accepting suffering. Paul's oncology tailored to his chemo, so he could continue working as a neurosurgeon, which initially we thought was totally impossible. When the cancer advanced and Paul shifted from surgery to writing, his palliative care doctor prescribed a stimulant medication so he could be more focused. They asked Paul about his priority and his worry. He asked her what trade-off and he was willing to make. Those conversations are the best way to ensure that your health care matches your values. Paul joked that it's not like that birds and bees talk you have with your patient. Will you all get it over with as quickly as possible and then pretend it never happened? You revisit the conversation as things change. You keep saying things out loud. I'm forever grateful because post-collection feel that their job wasn't to try to give us answers they didn't have, or only to try to fix things for us, but to console through painful choices. When his body was failing, but his will to live wasn't. Later, after Paul died, I received a dozen bouquets of flowers, but I sent just one to Paul's oncologist because he supported his goal and she helped him with his choices. We knew that living meant more than just staying alive. A few weeks ago, a patient came into clinic, a woman dealing with a serious chronic disease, and while we talking about her life and her health care, she said, I love my palliative care team. They taught me that it's okay to say no. Yet, I thought, of course it is, but many patients didn't feel that compassion and the choices that started, where they asked people about their health care preference. And a lot of people started their answer with the word, well, if I have a choice. And I read that if I understood better while 1 in 4 people receive excessive of unwanted medical treatment, or watch a family member receive excessive and unwanted medical treatment. It's not because doctors didn't get it. We understand the real psychological consequences on patients and their families. The thing is, we deal with them. To have a critical care nurse and a quarter of ICU doctors have considered quitting their job because of district of feeling that for some of their patients, they have provided care that didn't fit with the person's values. But doctors can make sure your wishes are respected until they know what they are. Will you want to be on life support if it offers a chance of longer life? Are you most worried about the quality of that time rather than quantity? Both of those choices are thoughtful and brave, but for all of us, it's our choice. That's true at the end of life and for medical care through our life. If you are pregnant, do you want genetic screen? Is a knee replacement right or not? Do you want to do dialysis in a clinic or at home? The answer is it depends. What medical care will help you live the way you want to? I hope you remember that question the next time you face a decision in your health care. Remember that you always have a choice, and it's okay to say not a treatment that's not right for you. There's a poem by W.S. Merwin. It's just 2 sentences long. Let's capture how I feel now. Your absence has gone through me, like straight through a needle. Everything I do is stitched with its color. For me, that poem evoked my love for Paul, and a new fortitude that came from loving and roasting him. When Paul said it's going to be okay, that didn't mean that we could cure his illness. Instead, we learned to accept both joy and sadness at the same time, to uncover beauty and purpose both despite and because we are all born and we are all die. And for all the sadness and sleepless night, it turned out there is a joy. We live from on postgrad and watch our 2 years all run around on the grass. I built bonfire on the beach and watch the sunset with our friend. Exercise and mindfulness meditation have helped a lot. And someday I hope I'd get remarried. Most importantly, I get to watch our daughter grow. I have thought a lot about what I'm going to say to her when she's older. Katie, engaged in a full range of experience, living and dying, love and rose. It's what we get to do. Being human doesn't happen despite suffering, it happens within it. When we approach suffering together, then we choose not to hide from it. Our lives don't diminish, they expand. We learn that cancer isn't always a battle, or if it is, maybe it's a fight for something different than we thought. Our job isn't to be fight fate, but to help each other through. Not as a soldier, but as a shepherd. That's how we make it. Okay, even when it's not, but saying it out loud, by helping each other through, or a career through never hurt either. Thank you, applause.